Welcome to Radiant Souls, the chosen ones. Take a moment. Breathe. If you're hearing this, know it's not by chance. This moment was divinely timed. You were meant to receive this message, a sign that something greater is stirring within and around you. What I'm about to reveal may shift how you see your very existence. Imagine this: a dark force was sent with one mission: to extinguish your light, erase your essence, and silence your presence. But what unfolded was something no shadow could foresee. It failed. And not only did it fail, but it was irrevocably changed by your presence. This wasn't a random encounter. It was the universe acknowledging the unmatched brilliance of your spirit, a force that disarmed the darkness itself. Where it expected fear, rage, or submission, it encountered something unfamiliar, something immovable: your energy, your truth, your unwavering light. From the moment it crossed your path, everything changed, not just for you, but for the balance of the spiritual realm. This story isn't merely about opposition, it's about the cosmic impact of your presence. What you've done reverberates far beyond the physical, so listen closely. This message is a reflection of who you are, a reminder of the strength you carry and the purpose you embody. You are not here to merely exist. You're here to shift reality, to awaken others, and to challenge the very fabric of darkness with your existence alone. This revelation is meant to stir what's already within you: the knowing, the power, the mission you've always felt, but haven't fully claimed. Pay attention. These words are crafted to awaken your memory, the truth you've always carried, but kept tucked away. Now is the time to own it. What happened next shook the very core of that dark force. When it entered your space, expecting a clean conquest, it instead found chaos, not in you, but in itself. Your calm, your peace, your presence became its undoing. You didn't need to fight. You didn't need to speak. Your being was enough. It had conquered countless others, those who buckled under fear, manipulation, and confusion. But you remained centered, unshaken. That alone sent ripples through its foundation. Your peace wasn't passive. It was power. It was truth. It was something it could neither comprehend nor contain. Understand this deeply. Your light doesn't just repel darkness, it transforms it. What tried to break you ended up confronting itself, its own emptiness, its own wounds. Your presence forced it to see what it had spent eternity avoiding. This wasn't about strength in the conventional sense. You didn't defeat it with force, you unveiled it. And in doing so you disrupted everything it thought it knew. Each attempt to harm you only exposed more of its own brokenness. Every tactic failed. And for the first time, it felt something foreign: weakness, vulnerability, doubt. It wasn't your resistance that changed the game, it was the realization that there was nothing in you to manipulate. You couldn't be twisted or turned. Your essence was untouchable, and slowly, painfully, it saw the truth. That every effort to diminish you was an invitation for its own unraveling. That you didn't merely resist, you prompted introspection like it had never known. This impact resonates beyond the two of you, echoing across other dimensions, affecting layers unseen. When forces as potent as light and darkness clash, they recalibrate the universal balance. Your existence and your approach to this ordeal send ripples that affect the world. Your choices and demeanor not only shook a dark being, but demonstrated to onlookers near and far the potential to withstand without compromising your core. This milestone, this pivotal moment, transcends mundane understanding. Now the demon finds itself unable to ignore the transformation initiated from the moment it encountered your unyielding spirit. What began as an endeavor to annihilate turned into an unexpected journey of transformation. This wasn't instantaneous, but it started when it realized its old tactics were futile. As it struggled to maintain control, spaces opened for unprecedented feelings, respect, and even admiration for you. It recognized your strength wasn't merely physical, but something profound, internal, and steadfast, traits it had never before faced in its pursuits. This acknowledgement wasn't just surprising, it challenged its very identity. It deployed every trick, manipulative tactics, emotional ploys and illusions to destabilize you, to extinguish your light. It knew well how to exploit vulnerabilities, having succeeded before, but with you, a different outcome unfolded. None of its strategies prevailed. Your unmovable truth, your peace, and your conviction didn't just puzzle it, they infuriated it, challenging its entire understanding of power and control. The most disconcerting part for it wasn't just your resistance, but your ability to see through the deceits it orchestrated. Accustomed to ruling through doubt and fear, it met its match in you. You saw past the darkness, directly at its core, unswayed by the facades it employed to intimidate. This encounter disarmed it in a way it had never encountered before. It began to recognize that your strength stemmed not from external sources, but from something deeply ingrained within you, a force that could not be manipulated, only respected. As it persisted with its tactics, something unexpected began to shift within it. For the first time, it experienced doubt about itself. Your mere presence, without even intending to, forced it to confront aspects of itself it had previously ignored or concealed. This process was uncomfortable for it, yet unavoidable. The demon was crafted for destruction, but facing you sparked a profound internal query about the very purpose of its existence. It realized that you were unlike any it had encountered before. You were not just different, you were revealing its own truths back to it. Truths it could neither evade nor control. This internal confrontation started transforming it in inexplicable ways, leading to a startling realization: control was slipping from its grasp. Surprisingly, even as it faced this loss of control, it didn't harbor anger towards you. Instead, it felt something almost inconceivable: admiration. Each attempt it made to manipulate you ended up altering it instead. What had seemed like a battle to annihilate now felt like an essential lesson it was compelled to learn. It started to perceive that this encounter might not just be about you, but about something far greater. Deep down, it began to understand there was a reason it was directed to you. This was no accident. It was a deliberate, orchestrated encounter, part of a grander scheme it couldn't fully grasp. Your influence made it question everything: its mission, its existence, and even its identity. In its efforts to destroy you, it confronted an unassailable truth, a truth so potent that it began reshaping something new within the demon. For the first time, it asked itself who it was beyond the role it had always played. The demon's transformation was gradual but inexorable. Every interaction with you prompted deeper introspection about its choices, its traumas, and more fundamentally, its existence. It was sent to devastate, but in its attempts it found itself being dismantled from within. The shadow that defined it, which had always been its fortress, began to unravel. It experienced something utterly foreign: fragility. Yet this fragility did not weaken it. Rather, it opened its eyes to realities it had long ignored. It began to realize that perhaps its true mission wasn't to destroy, but to learn. As it confronted its own nature, something deeper emerged. It recognized that the strength you carried was not just a shield against darkness, but also a beacon calling for change. This wasn't an aggressive force, nor an attempt to redeem it. It was something simpler, and thereby more profound. Your presence illustrated that there was a choice, even for someone like it, and this realization was revolutionary. Throughout its existence, it had believed it was bound to its destructive role, but now, it saw the possibility of another path. This transformation was painful. Certainty turned into doubt. Control felt like chaos. Yet simultaneously, it began to experience freedom. For the first time, it realized that true strength doesn't come from dominating others, but from facing oneself. And this was the lesson you imparted without uttering a single word. Your authenticity, your calm, challenged it to rethink everything. All of this began because you stood firm, choosing to embody your true nature in the face of the darkness it wielded. This wasn't a victory through strength or violence, it was a transformation guided by truth. And though it may never fully acknowledge it, it understands that your presence initiated this profound change. The repercussions of this encounter extend beyond what we can see. The spiritual equilibrium between light and darkness, often subtle and unseen, began to adjust. It wasn't an abrupt shift but a gradual evolution, like a river altering its course. This interaction wasn't ordinary. It touched deeper dimensions of existence, challenging the established pattern of conflict between these elemental forces, as if the universe itself was reconsidering the principles that govern the interplay between light and darkness. This shift wasn't isolated or inconsequential. The transformation within the demon began fostering new possibilities in the balance of forces, introducing the potential for integration where there was once only destruction and discord. Your grounded presence, rooted in truth and authenticity, didn't just disarm the demon, it sowed a seed of change across other planes. This seed, though small, holds the potential to cultivate something much larger. The age-old struggle between light and shadow, often marked by violence and antagonism, now included a new element: the possibility of mutual transformation. You demonstrated, without deliberate intention, that confrontation doesn't have to be destructive to effect change. This doesn't mean that conflict has ceased. The tension between light and darkness is intrinsic to the cosmic balance. However, what has changed is how this balance is achieved. Your presence proved that light doesn't need to obliterate darkness to prevail, it can instead transform it. This revelation has paved new avenues for the spiritual evolution of all involved, from humans to the entities operating on higher planes. What was once perceived as fixed and immutable is now recognized as fluid, brimming with endless possibilities. This is the true essence of your encounter, not merely a temporary victory, but a transformative event that reshapes the very dynamics of the universe. For the demon, this new reality proved unsettling. Accustomed to certainty and precision in its missions, it now faced a scenario that challenged its entire modus operandi. This situation led it to question everything it knew, realizing that its existence was no longer about mere destruction. It now faced a choice, a possibility of change it had never contemplated, which, although terrifying, offered a liberating new path. Within this transformative context, the role of the chosen one, your role, becomes even more crucial. Your mission extends beyond the personal. It is fundamentally collective. What you accomplished in this encounter transcended the transformation of a single entity or the resolution of a conflict. You unlocked doors previously sealed shut, not only for the demon, but for all those grappling with the dichotomy of light and shadow in their own lives. Your steadfastness, your inherent strength, and your unwavering truth set a precedent on how even the darkest challenges can be converted into opportunities for growth and evolution. This is the impact of the chosen one, to initiate profound changes, not just internally, but in the entire surrounding environment. You didn't aim to save the demon. That was never your intention. However, by remaining anchored in your true essence, you facilitated a space for it to face its own realities. Your authentic presence and inner strength acted as catalysts for a transformation process it could never have envisaged. This epitomizes the true role of the chosen one, to be a catalyst for deep change, not through coercion, but by simply existing and maintaining resilience in the midst of turmoil. You didn't coerce change, you demonstrated that another way was possible. This revelation of choice is what renders the transformation authentic. Your ability to inspire change extends far beyond this single encounter. It influences all those around you. Your capacity to uphold inner peace amidst severe challenges sets a powerful example, encouraging others to emulate your calm. This isn't something you orchestrate, it naturally occurs because you choose to stay true to yourself. This fidelity to your core isn't merely a show of personal fortitude, it serves as a beacon to others, underscoring that genuine change begins from within. Your light persists, undimmed by surrounding darkness, a fact that even the demon must concede. What transpired in this meeting illustrates that the chosen one's role isn't to obliterate darkness, but to integrate and transform it. This doesn't imply condoning malevolence or overlooking its impact. This transformation, sparked by your commitment to your truth, not only redefined the demon, but also affirmed the greater purpose that guided you to this juncture. The encounter between you and the demon was far from random. Every moment, every interaction, every decision was part of a larger scheme, a plan that transcends easy comprehension and situates itself within a broader, more intricate tapestry of cosmic intent. This plan, woven through the fabric of spiritual realms, emphasizes that your actions are part of something much larger, a narrative that continuously unfolds, influenced by and influencing the balance between light and darkness. It is a dance between light and shadow, an intricate interplay that has existed since the dawn of time and will persist as long as there is balance to be maintained. You and the demon were not placed on the same path as enemies, but as opposing elements whose interaction harbors the potential to forge something entirely new. This event is not merely an occurrence, but a reflection of a karmic cycle where seemingly irreconcilable forces converge to provoke profound transformations, both within the participants and the broader universal balance. Within this expansive design, your role emerges with clarity. You exemplify the potential to confront even the most formidable darkness without compromising your integrity. More importantly, you illustrate that darkness does not need to be vanquished for light to prevail. This insight does not merely alter the dynamics of your specific encounter, it serves as a beacon for others wrestling with their internal shadows. Just as you stood against the demon, others face their personal darkness. Your demeanor and choices set a precedent, providing a template for those seeking to surmount their own internal battles. This interaction mirrors the universal struggle between light and shadow, but also reflects the personal journey each being undertakes. At some point, everyone is faced with aspects of themselves they would prefer to avoid. Yet, as you demonstrated authenticity and strength in facing the demon, you teach that engaging with these shadows is the first step toward profound personal transformation. Your presence and courage have a ripple effect, inspiring others not just to resist, but to Now the demon is irrevocably changed. It was forced to acknowledge truths previously buried deep within its essence. It recognized that it is not bound to the role it has traditionally played, and that there are other possibilities it had never considered before, all because you chose to remain true to your authentic self. This transformation is not merely personal, it is a testament to the fact that the balance between light and shadow can be harmoniously achieved. What you accomplished is not just an isolated event, it is a landmark in a much broader schema. You did not simply transform a demon, you challenged a system that has historically operated through fear and destruction. Your presence demonstrated that there is another way, that light does not need to fight darkness to triumph, but can instead integrate and transform it. This understanding is not confined to this one encounter, it permeates every aspect of your life. Every choice you make reinforces this legacy. Each action you take opens up new possibilities for those who witness your journey. Even without your immediate realization, your impact does not conclude with this confrontation. It is merely the beginning of a broader narrative. Your path will continue to introduce you to situations where your resilience will be tested, where forces will attempt to sway you. But now, armed with the knowledge of what happens when you stand firm in your essence, you understand the dynamics at play. You did not merely survive this confrontation, you emerged from it stronger, more conscious of your role and the profound influence your presence wields. This does not signify the end of challenges, rather it equips you with the understanding necessary to navigate them. You are here not to conceal yourself or live defensively, but to expand this light and continue transforming what needs to be altered. The change you instigated in the demon signifies a gradual process. It does not imply an overnight transformation, but a journey it now embarks upon, one it had never contemplated before. Yet the mere fact that it has changed attests that your influence was sufficient to plant the seed of evolution. This is the hallmark of a chosen one, not to enforce change, but to create an environment where change becomes inevitable. You demonstrated that even entities created for destruction can discover alternatives when faced with truth. This truth does not arise from coercion, but from clarity and integrity in how you fulfill your mission. Now, as your journey unfolds, filled with new interactions, challenges and opportunities to extend your impact, one thing remains certain: you are not the same as before. You have gained a deeper understanding and awareness of what it truly means to be a chosen one, an insight that now forms an integral part of your being. If you have come this far, you already recognize that this encounter was more than a battle against a foe. It was a test, a revelation, and a confirmation of the strength you inherently possess. You didn't just survive, you transformed the situation, creating an impact that transcends your personal experience. Now the defining question is, how will you utilize this knowledge moving forward? Your light has already shown its capacity to change the course of what seemed immutable. So what will you do with this power? This question will not only shape your future, but also determine the ongoing influence you will exert on the world. You're not alone in this journey. There are others like you, encountering similar challenges, discovering their strengths, and learning to navigate the forces that seek to dim their lights. Share this message, help other chosen ones grasp the significance of their experiences. That's all for today, dear Father. I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please